Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone had a great week and I hope you are having a great weekend wherever you are in the world today. All right, I won't hold you for too long today, so we're going to get straight to today's show. The title of today's show is Don't Get Mad, Get Even. And the topic is understanding constructive criticisms. So you had a bad review. And not to worry, it comes with the territory. And no matter how hard you try, you won't satisfy all readers. Not to worry, though. Believe it or not, sometimes we need constructive criticism. And once we understand how it works, it can improve our writing skills. At some point, all writers require polishing and a slight tightening around the edges. Constructive criticism helps with this. You may not think so, but after a few scathing remarks aimed at your work, and you may want to retaliate with a few choice words. But, you know, my mama taught me to say nothing if you can't find something good to say. Now, that bit of knowledge goes a very long way. And I wish more people would practice that because sometimes it's just good to say nothing. You know, keep your thoughts to yourself. But in situations such as book reviews, it's necessary. So you need that input. You need people to say as much as possible, hopefully positive things about your work. But, you know, you take the good with the bad. The negative comes along with it. And, you know, you just got to roll with it whenever that happens, okay? So some good sound advice, although in the world of author-reader relationships, which includes not always flattering criticism of one's work, it makes you want to toss everything you learned about manners straight out of the window. And you can't do that. You always have to put your best foot forward, you know, because that looks good on you. It looks good on your brand to be the bigger person. You know, you may be tempted to, when you get those bad reviews, to, you know, to leave an equally scathing comment about the person that's given the review. But, you know, you have to respect people's honesty. That's their true opinion. So, you know, you just have to accept that and move on, you know, and you may have 50 great reviews and then just that one bad one, you know. So, you know, one bad apple does not spoil the whole barrel if you can get to it in time. If not, then you know what happens when you don't. All right. Anyway, you know, we just have to face it. They're not every reader will be pleased with your efforts. Even when you've put blood, sweat, and tears into trying to write a great story, you can't hunt down every reviewer and inflict damage on them, no matter how it hurts to read not so flattering remarks about your work. But, you know, as pleasing as getting even sounds, constructive criticism is a good thing. You know, there are teachable moments that we can learn from and become better when we listen instead of taking them personally. And I know sometimes it's hard not to take it personally because, you know, just like what I said, you know, you work hard at what you do, and the last thing you want is someone, you know, saying bad things about your work. But you know, that's just the way it is. You know, in life we don't, you know, we don't necessarily get things to go and to move the way we want them to. But, you know, but the fact of the matter is that they are moving and that people are leaving reviews. So that means that they are reading your work. And you know, and some people are just bitter. because they wish that it was them actually writing the story, telling the story. And if they could write the story and tell the story, then they would do so. But sometimes, that's just what they do. No matter who has written a book or whose book they read, that is their one solitary purpose, is to bash it any way that they possibly can. So, you just have to look over those type of reviews and just keep it moving. Because if you don't, you're going to waste your time and your energy focusing on that when you should be focusing on, writing your next book. All right. So, but, even with that, there are important takeaways that we should pay close attention to, especially, what's being said about the books that we've written. Are the words condemning your writing skills, or that none of what they read makes sense? So, it's things to look at, ways to evaluate yourself, and to just, to really thoroughly go through those reviews that people leave about your book, and do your homework just to see, exactly what it is they're saying about your book, because even a negative review sometimes have positive reflections. So those are the things that you should look for. And I know that I am, totally optimistic, but that's just how I roll. That's how I'm built. So I would rather see the positive in any situation than look for negative things. Okay. So, and that's what you should do. Look for the positive in those negative reviews. And then another thing that I want to point out is, is the reader, is that the readers are so invested in the story that they stop seeing the characters as fictional but real, flawed, imperfect, like we all are. Point case, I just recently got a bad review. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing this show today. All right. So, and when I read it, I didn't, it didn't upset me. Not in a way that I thought I would be upset by getting a bad review. Actually, I laughed, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't. So, I'm going to say it to you instead. So anyway, I read this review. And, basically the person was saying that, that the female character of the story was childish. And yes, she was very childish. And that the male lead in the story was arrogant. And yes, he was very arrogant. So, and that's exactly how those characters were written. That's how they were supposed to be seen, in their entirety, just who they are, just how they were written. And so, but the reader picked up on that, and she wasn't happy about it. Let me tell you, she wasn't happy about it at all, because, she pointed out that they were messed up. And yes, they were very messed up. But we are too. We're not perfect. And those characters aren't perfect. But the thing that got me the most, that just had me just tickled, if I could be tickled pink about it, was the fact that, that she said everything that those characters were truly, that I wanted portrayed about those two individuals in this story. And I just smiled and I laughed. I was like, what? I just need to do a show about this, and and just talk about constructive criticism. I've talked about it before on past shows, but I wanted to talk about it again, simply because of that review that I got on my book. And it wasn't on Amazon. It was actually on Goodreads, and I hadn't been on Goodreads in like forever. So I went out there just to see, because I think it popped up in my timeline, or either I hadn't gotten an email or whatever, about it. So I clicked on the email and went to Goodreads and everything. And so that's where I saw I saw those remarks. And, it just thrilled me to the point that, that reader didn't realize that, that these were fictional characters. And I was like, oh, wow, they really think that these people are real, that, that this is their life. But, they're just characters. It's just fiction, and it's supposed to be that way, because, sometimes, art imitates life. And so in this case, it most certainly did, and so I'm just thrilled about that, and I love that part, and it's what we want to see as writers, to convey dimension and human nature when it comes to the characters that we create. We don't want to see them. We don't want the readers to see them as flat and uninteresting, but the fact that they actually thought that this was someone's life enough to where it actually made them angry with the characters in the story because of their behavior. I just have to say, okay, it's not the character's fault. It is the author's fault because she created these characters, and so she had them behaving badly. What else can I say? And I thank you for that reviewer that actually read the book and took time to. And I mean, that review was long, so I was like, oh wow. Oh wow, this is so great that that they actually wrote this long review. It wasn't a positive one in that sense, but still, I saw the positive. I chose to see the positivity anyway in that review because I touched on several different things that were said, and it just, like I said, it just made me laugh. It just I just got so tickled. And it just inspired me to do today's show and to tell those who are out there who get bad reviews, don't despair, that you're going to get some bad reviews. To every 10 good reviews, you're going to get a bad review, okay? It's just like, when if you do beans, whether it's pinto beans. I love pinto beans, by the way. And, and sometimes when you are going through and trying to make sure that there are no rocks in the beans, sometimes you find rocks within the beans. In one handful, every bean may be perfect. And then in the next handful, you may find some rocks. So that's just the way it is, when you are writing stories and you get reviews about those stories. That's just the way it is sometimes. So, don't despair. Be happy about it that someone took the time, and be thankful that someone took the time to write a review about your work. It may not have been what you were expecting, but still it's a review, so you can take that and run with it. And keep in mind that depending on what the reviewers say, not all accuse the writer of creating unbelievable characters, but simply verify that we are all dysfunctional as humans. Now, that's true. And that's undisputable, all right? Cannot be denied. It's very true. And there are decipherable clues that point out if you suck as a writer or you are a prolific genius, okay? So give yourself a pat on the back, all right? And according to the poet Alexander Pope, to err is human, to forgive divine. And once you understand how creative criticism can boost morale, you'll be less likely to doubt your ability and hate negative reviews. All right. So, folks, that is our show for today. Before I let you go, I want to make sure that I leave you with these URLs. Of course, the first one is for Spreaker, and that is at https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian Moore. You can follow me across all social media, which includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, I'm not doing videos on TikTok, but you will see book chat and maybe some quick little videos about my books. All right, okay. So, and anyway, if you would, please check out my blog. That is at authorvivianmoore.com or authorvivianmoore.blogspot.com. All right, so check that out. And also, if you missed today's live show, you can listen to the recorded episode on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, YouTube, SoundCloud, Giles Sabin, iTunes, Audible.com, Verbal, that is spelled VURRBL, okay, or VURBL, sorry, Luminary, and Amazon. So there you go. Those are all the places where you can listen to the show. All right, tomorrow is Sunday worship day, y'all know what that is. Okay, y'all know what that means. So if you are going to church, to the brick and mortar building, be careful, be safe. If you are still listening from home, make sure you're tuning in and inviting others to do the same, because it is so crucial to get that word. You know, we have Bible study and prayer services on Wednesdays, and let me tell you, that is the exact pick-me-up that I need, for the midweek to help me make it through to Sunday, because I'm going to tell you, my work weeks are brutal. They are so brutal, and I need that encouragement to get me through the rest of the week. So, and I'm thankful for it, and everybody that joins in with us on those Wednesday nights. So I get excited about that, and I want you to be excited about it too, and also for Sunday worship services, all right? And also, guys, remember to tell those around you how you feel about them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that, so I'm going to say it. I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you, and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.